And now joining us, the head coach of North Texas men's basketball, Ross Hodge. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. Anytime I get to hang out and talk to you guys for a little bit, it's a heck of a day.
Man, I know. We're the best. We're the best, right? We're the best. Man, I was talking. We were talking on the UTSA pod about how much Colin's grown up over the past
Yeah.
6 years, and now he's got a house, engaged,
Mhm.
everything's going for him. So, on the up and up now. And look at you. You're on the podcast as a head coach. We don't have to call each other at night after the game and be like, damn, just talk off the record. Now I can get you on a
Do this
podcast.
stuff.
All right, we won't keep you too long. But we do have some interesting questions. And now I'm glad we're doing this late in the right before the year starts off, so that we can really get into the nitty gritty with you. Obviously, y'all hosted exhibition game. That's the first thing. Hosted that, and obviously hosted Tech and A, and then we're also able to play right after y'all. What was the value of that? How cool was it just to be able to host that event for your team, for fan base, and for everybody there?
Yeah, man. I said it time and time again, kind of in the lead up and even after the game, just how thankful we were to be a part of it. And there's nothing like putting on the uniforms and playing a game in front of people. And so to be able to kind of get that experience for myself, for our team, for everybody associated with the program against a really good opponent, and also part of, like you said, something that's just like it's cool to be a part of. Doubleheader in the pit, the just how the universe aligned for the whole deal. You kind of had even though it was an exhibition game, we'll call it a game. My first game was against Chris Mudge, which was his first game as a head coach of level, but he was one of my former assistants at Midland. And he was an assistant for Grant for 1 year. He was an assistant for me for 1 year. For us to kind of play against each other, then obviously you had, Mac in his first game in a Texas Tech uniform back in Denton. It was it was all kind of cool and weird and, at the same time. But yeah, man, it's an invaluable experience to get all that experience out of the way, man, with just, like I said, putting uniforms on, people in the stands, parents in the stands, legit foul trouble. I think I've told you guys this story before. We scrimmaged Mississippi State in a closed door scrimmage last year and kind of tipped them in at the buzzer. Maybe it counted, maybe it didn't, but whatever. You walk away from it feeling really good, and you pick up the stat sheet, and Abu had 10 fouls. So in a real game, that probably impacts what happens a little more, which you don't necessarily worry about as much in the closed door scrimmages. But like on Saturday or Sunday, having to navigate A. Scott getting a little bit of foul trouble, picking up his third on the first play of the second half, like I was just really thankful to be a part of it, man.
You already mentioned that Sam Houston State's obviously a really good team. I believe y'all played them in the NIT last year too. What were some of the main takeaways? One, opening up with a game like this, because in the past it hasn't really been the case, and then seeing, everyone kind of get back and playing.
Yeah, like you said, played against them in the NIT. Kind of another little unknown fact that I've shared with a few people is we actually played Sam Houston on the same date a year ago. It was just in a closed door scrimmage, and they whipped our tail in Denton. I mean, they whipped us bad. So our players did respect them, even though we kind of returned the favor in the NIT. Ruben, A. Scott, Mulai, Stone, like they knew, like, hey man, we have a lot of respect for this program. And so yeah, it was a great test against a real team, that's kind of like can be right in the thick of the Conference USA race. And like I said, just great experience.
Did it catch you off guard at all? How, obviously you go into this game preparing as if it's a real game, but I mean, you mentioned the foul trouble, but every aspect of it, playing in a tight game against Sam Houston, did it catch you off off guard at all? Be like, oh, this is a real like it feels like a real game, even though it doesn't count. And a lot of teams are playing these exhibition games where Purdue, Arkansas, where this is down to the wire. They're fighting tooth and nail.
Yeah, I mean, you get to learn so much about your team, and that's because no matter how much you prepare and practice, no matter how much you try to have forward thought process of thinking of every situation, thinking of every scenario, thinking of every lineup combination, it's inevitable. We played some lineup combinations in that game on Sunday that I don't even know if we practiced with, and that's what happens when you get in games. And you can try to prepare as much as you want, but there is a little bit of an unknown early in the season. Like you don't know necessarily what to expect on your end either. You think you do, but like I said, games are different, and it's a learning process. And even when you have a really, really solid foundation of returners, they're still in new roles as well. Everybody's in a new role. They're in new roles. I'm in new roles. We know what it takes. We know what the end looks like, but we're still all having to learn how to do it together.
Y'all hold them to 37% shooting overall, shoot the ball pretty well. I was looking at the wrong number here. Never mind. I went 5 of 21 from 3 there. We'll work on that.
They did.
Oh,
we shot the ball. We shot the ball well from 3 to not shoot the ball.
That's right.
Well
yeah. No, yeah. I did get a flip. Yeah. No, y'all shot 9 of 24 from 3. It's a good number. But anyways, I'm trying to ask what's the point of, focus for you moving forward as far as where you would want to continue to see the area of growth just with this team moving forward?
It's just continuing to play together and get out there and play together, play against different types of defenses. That's Coach Max talked about a lot of this in the past, and now I understand more than ever. Like, it's not really – we do have a unique defense. We have a unique defense to play against our style, forcing it no middle, the angles that we force. And so to play against ourselves every day, it can put your offense behind to start seasons because it's an unnatural defense. So now you're getting maybe some more natural looks, ball screen coverages to the middle. They let you drive middle, but you don't do it because you're just so conditioned to not do it.
Yeah.
So just continuing to evolve in that area a little bit. We need to finish better around the basket. I felt like we had some opportunities to, and our guys know that. But you got to give Sam Houston credit as well. They're a good defensive team, and they do a good job. They collapse really hard. They make you kick the ball out, and then they close out on you. They don't give you a lot of stuff around the rim, and they had good physicality. They're big, they're a big team. So you got to give credit there, but just we've got to finish a little bit better, continue to share the ball, continue to move the ball. Defensively, you're always it's all like just the little repetitive things. The guy I used to work for before Grant, Larry Eustacia, he would say like coaching is repeating yourself. In a lot of ways it is. You say the same things every day. You just try to figure out new ways to say them, but you're saying the same things. Close out, high hands, call ball, who's got the rim. It's like over and over and over again.
Jason Edwards, 16 points off the bench. I believe also had the most field goal attempts. Yeah, 14. Is that going to kind of be his role going forward the rest of the season? Obviously, Tyler Perry had that 2 years ago whenever he was kind of that spark plug off the bench. Is that kind of what you foresee him doing this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be like completely just locked in on a lineup. I can tell you he's played really well in both our closed door scrimmage against Oral Roberts. I think he was our leading scorer in that one as well. I think maybe he had 22 off the bench in that one.
Dang.
And then, so sometimes, messing with the lineup can impact it the other way. If a guy's like, it was kind of like TP's first year. It's like, well, and you guys know how we sub so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, to me, we have 7 or 8 starters, honestly. I mean, we're going to sub, even if they don't start, get their name called. I mean, Rob Allen, Stone. I mean, those guys are going to be in the game so quick. Like,
I mean, the under 16 timeouts usually.
Yeah, first dead ball.
Yeah.
Really. As long as it's not like the first play. I mean, under 18 minutes, if we get a dead ball, we're usually subbing.
Yeah.
But Jay's done a good job. He's still learning, like how to be a little more efficient. But man, you do not have to. He's one of those guys. You don't have to speed him up. You don't have to tell him to get his motor runs. And, he's really fast. He knows how to get shots. He's just got to learn how to be a little more efficient, but it's that fine line with players like that. But to his credit, man, he's been a great teammate, and he's really responded well to coaching.
The three D1 transfers that played for y'all, John Buggs, CJ Nolan, Robert Allen, all of them. I was not at the game. It wasn't streamed, so I didn't see them. Mm-hmm. But based on the highlights, based on the box score, it looked like they lived up to kind of what you were expecting. Just what was your take on those three and how they looked?
Yeah, same way, man. I thought they all played well. Thought they really played hard. Thought they tried to do what we were asking them to do. All had really good contributions. I think Rob maybe had like 8 points, 9 rebounds, or 9 points, 9, somewhere around there. Buggs kind of gave us the separation initially in the second half. Just snapped a couple threes off, and CJ did a good job with his physicality. And but the coolest thing about all those guys, honestly, is just how open they've been to how we do things and buying in. And they've been unbelievable teammates. They want to win. And there's been like zero resistance from any of those guys the moment they've stepped on campus, man. They've just like bought in. And they're really fun people to be around.
Yeah, we interviewed Buggs, and that dude's hilarious.
Yeah, he's the best.
Buggs also brought up Aaron Scott a lot whenever we interviewed him 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I guess what have you seen from Aaron in terms of his growth? Because Buggs is talking like he's looking like an NBA player, so I wanted to hear that from the coach, man himself. So
yeah, I think the biggest thing with A. Scott, again, is just his maturation as a leader, mm-hmm. as much as a player. Because really what you're trying to do with guys like A. Scott when they make that next jump, it's just how do you continue to be extremely consistent with your daily habits that will allow you to be consistent on the floor? And that's where he's made the biggest jump. And I think what Buggs is seeing is the tail end of that. That's what he's seen, kind of what's showing up. But to me, it's like all the other little things, seeing him as a freshman, seeing him as a sophomore, seeing him how he conducts himself. And I'm not just talking about makes or misses, but just how he's conducting himself. He's been a great leader, and he's still learning. He's learning how to be in a primary scorer role, and there will be ebbs and flows with that. And there will be some, it's a different environment, but he's embraced it. Not a different environment. It's a different role for him. Same environment, different role, but he's embraced it, and he's been really open to learning, and now it's just kind of like, how do you balance out? How do you be really aggressive, but still make simple plays? How do you get more shots, but not take difficult shots? How do you be aggressive, but don't put yourself in bad situations? So that's what he's learning, but it's been his commitment to his body, commitment to the weight room, commitment to getting treatment. That's kind of like what I see is the biggest jump he's made this year.
Yeah. I did want to ask you about Rondell Walker. Obviously, 2-time waiver request. Every school in the country seemingly has at least one player, and just wanted to ask to see if there was any update on him going.
No update. Waiver has been submitted, so it's just kind of all in the hands of the NCAA at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're five days away from game, and nobody. Again, I'm over here at LSU, and the starting point guard doesn't know if they're playing or not. So, everybody's going through it. We'll see how that goes. Colin, you got something else?
I was going to ask about the schedule, but I did want to ask about Ruben real quick, just because he played so much in the exhibition game, and I know you, again, like Bruni said, we didn't get a chance to watch the game, but he did lead the team with 4 assists. With this new offense that you're doing this year, how has he kind of stepped into that? Obviously, him being a more free player, and not being able to express that just because of how the offense was the last few years. Has he kind of stepped into that and embraced that?
Yeah, and again, if you watched the game, I wouldn't think you'd watch. If you would have got to see it, I don't think you would have watched it and been like, "Wow, this looks completely different."
Right.
just like I said, a little more pace, a little more tempo. But he's another one, man. Like he's so comfortable with kind of who he is at this point, and he's so bought into just trying to help this team win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one. It's just been awesome to see him grow, see him like even today at practice, like Simo made a defensive mistake and, we're still coaching and Ruben has Simo over at the, because how we can watch film during practice. He has him over there and he's showing him, you know what I mean? Like, while we're coaching the team, he's over there. So just his leadership, his everyday approach, how he's with the young guys, how he is in the locker room, and seeing that comfort. And I thought he played a great game, on Sunday. I think it was like 13 points, 4 or 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Got to the foul line a few times, made those 1 or 2 from 3. It's like played really good defense.
Yeah.
We ended up in the second half. Because of A. Scott's foul trouble, we had to downsize a little bit, and we ended up putting Ruben on Hefner. Mm-hmm. Their best player, the 4-man that they had coming back. It was a good player. And so I feel his presence when he's not on the floor. I don't feel as comfortable when he's not on the floor. So that speaks a lot of volumes about how he's grown and just the responsibility of like having the ball in his hands a lot more, which he's had to learn. It's been up and down in practice, and he's kind of like, it's one thing to think for yourself. It's a whole nother thing to think for 4 other people.
Yeah.
That's what he's learning. But it's been awesome, man. It's been great to see.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Houston State last year, for those who don't know, was finished 21st in the country in defense on KenPom.
Yeah.
73rd overall in the country on KenPom. That's a damn good team.
A good defensive team.
That added Barnes from Texas Southern, obviously returns. I mean, I do that Dave Campbell's basketball podcast, so we loved Sam Houston State last year.
Yeah, it was good, man. Do a great, and Coach Mudge does a great job, man. A great job.
Moving on to the schedule, Northern Iowa to open in 6 days. Obviously a really good mid-major, and then going down the list of non-conference opponents, you got the Charleston Classic open up with St. John's.
We'll be there, Coach.
We will be there.
Nice.
We'll be there. You got Boise State, Mississippi State. Really, really good teams to open up, and obviously, if you beat St. John's, then you're going to play even more really good teams in the non-conference.
You're playing really good teams either way.
Yeah, win or lose.
You're playing good teams all 3 nights.
Yeah.
I guess is that something you wanted? Obviously, in the past, not really having that chance, and then 2, how important is that? 1, being the American and playing like a lot more consistently tough opponents.
Yeah, that's one thing we feel like we've trended towards that. Most of the last few years, since 2020. I mean, you go back looking at that first championship year. I mean, we opened up at VCU, then it was Arkansas, then it was
a
home against Eastern Michigan, which was
didn't y'all start 3-5 that year?
It went out, yeah,
3-5.
Absolutely, 3-5, 6-8 going in the league, man. Yeah. So, it's what your players want. To be honest, too, they want to play good teams.
Yeah.
This is by far, and it's not even close. This is by far the toughest opponent we've ever opened up with to start.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's the first time it's ever even been a Division I team that we've opened up with, let alone a team that's, picked to win the Missouri Valley, that has their whole team back, So I don't know if that's smart or dumb or whatever, but they're coming here on Tuesday, and but hey, it is honestly like we've gotten to the point. Our guys want to play against good competition. Our fan base wants to see us play good competition, and but everyone kind of has to realize, like, hey man, you're playing really good teams early in the year. Like they can go either way when you're playing good teams. And you can't be. That's the yin and the yang. Like you said, Arkansas and Purdue play each other in an exhibition. One of those teams has to win, and one of those teams has to lose.
Yeah.
Now you may feel a lot better if you were playing in NAIA school and you beat them by 50, but you're not going to be a better team. And that was the thing about Sunday. I knew when we woke up Monday morning playing Sam Houston in that charity exhibition game, I knew Monday morning we were going to wake up and we were going to be a better basketball team regardless of the outcome. And it'll be the same thing on Wednesday after playing Northern Iowa. We will be better on Wednesday morning than we were Tuesday. And you can't always say that. Even if you play somebody and beat them by 35, you may be worse the next day.
Yeah.
Even though you beat a team really bad, you develop bad habits. But we're excited about the schedule. Ask me about it again after we went through it. I may be, second guessing some areas, but no, it'll be fun. It's what we all want, man. You want to play against good teams and good players and really good coaches, and we're excited for it.
Was it hard to put it together, or did it kind of come together seamlessly? No.
The schedule?
Yeah.
No, the schedule's impossible to put together.
Yeah,
that's how you end up playing Northern Iowa on your home opener.
And it was announced like 3 weeks ago, so I don't know.
It's very difficult to schedule, man. It's been really hard for us. I'm hoping that our league will eventually kind of get into one of those challenges where you at least pick up a couple other games like that. Maybe go to 20 games, which is what it was at Conference USA, because it's just really hard to get games nowadays, man. Really hard.
I'm trying to think. American versus West Coast Conference.
I think you do that, or like you got the A10. I mean, you got some really good teams in the A10, and so who knows? It was very difficult to finish up, and it has been through the last few years, but that's part of it, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Kim Mulkey says the two hardest things as a coach is recruiting and scheduling.
Yep.
So there you go.
True.
All right. Last thing I had was about the assistant coaches, because obviously it's a new group. Coach Forte, Coach Estelle, and then Coach Dre Shaw, getting promoted up there. What have they brought that's unique? Obviously, because y'all have gone through, you've been through other assistant coaches before, but now with you at the helm, having those three, just what do they bring to the table?
Well, yeah, I mean, and start with Coach Estelle. I mean, he's been a Division II head coach the last 9 years. He was a junior college head coach before that. I've known him for 20 years. Just incredible person, incredible man, incredible husband, father. And he's been invaluable. I've known him for so long, and really is like can't put into words to what he's been able to do for our program and him. And again, he's what we like around here. Okay. Navarro Junior College had never went to Hutch until he got the job, and they went 3 out of 5 years. He took over a very difficult job down there at Kingsville. At one point in time, only had 3 full scholarships. Dang. The equivalents of that he could divide. And he went to 3 NCAA tournaments down there. So he's a winner. Same thing with Coach Forte. He's won his whole life. He's kind of defied all expectations of what people try to say you should be able to do or what you shouldn't be able to do. If you look at what he was able to get out of his God-given ability as a player, starting in the Big 12, winning state championships, being on NCAA tournament teams, and he's carried that same mindset into coaching, man. He works really hard. He's got a great feel. Jace Hurl, who was the associate head coach at Missouri State. He's another one. Started a junior college program from scratch at Northwest Kansas Tech. 120 games. And you guys know how awesome Coach Shaw is, man. And he's invaluable. What he's done with the TBT is kind of just giving a glimpse to the outside world of how good he really is. And then Mike Randall was another one, that is a young guy. He's a rising. He will not be here long. He's a star. He'll be really, really great in this business. Great relationships with players, all in. And the best part about all those guys is they care about players, and they're really excited to be here. And they're a selfless group, and no big egos. It's not like, oh, he does this, I do. Like, we do it all together. And I look forward to everybody just getting a chance to know those guys a little bit more throughout the next couple of years.
Yeah. The best part of that was when you said Hutch. Y'all been through so many JUCO players that I know exactly what you were talking about. Crazy.
Yep. Some context. You got some context.
But yeah, all right. That's all we have for you, Coach. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck this year. As you know, we'll be watching. We'll be talking. You know, tell us not to overreact, but
Good, man. If I ever got to send you any late night text messages talking you off a ledge, man, I will. Some things never change, dude. Same things never change.
Southern Nazarene.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the podcast with Colin, and I'm gonna be like, "Hold on, Colin, Coach Hodge, Colin."
We got a special like, call in.
Yeah. But yeah, Coach. Thanks. Best of luck this year. We look forward to it.
All right, man. Thank y'all.